looking for Dr. Khanna maybe for 5 minutes, so maybe you could discuss something. Do you want to discuss some topics you heard yesterday or the day before? Do you have any question on some topics?
So what is done, all these procedures, now I don't do it from last 2-3 years because we got a pain specialist, intervention radiologist. So all these done are cath lab under a radiologist. So for the cervical, you do take an ultrasound along with you go into the space, perivertebral space. You inject a small amount of contrast, which you see in the fluoroscopy under C-arm in the OT. And as soon as the contrast is by the side of the vertebra, you inject phenol or an absolute alcohol. And it's done under local, and patient takes around 10-15 minutes, and patient can walk home. Similarly, in the lumbar technique, we make the patient prone on the opposite side, and there is some people who are doing in the spine position through a transperitoneal. So what we do is ultrasound guided transperitoneal or at the lumbar. You go by the side of the vertebra because all these nerves are at the anterior point of the transverse process of the lumbar vertebra. So you inject around 5 ml contrast there. So you can see very easily that you are not, on the vessels between the aorta and the IVC. And by the side of the aorta and ultrasound guidance, you can directly go with the lumbar needle, inject contrast, identify the position, and inject small amount of phenol. This is the same procedure which is used for celiac ganglion block, which is like a standard technique for all the cancer patients. So because I never knew that these procedures still people are doing it, translumbar sympathectomies and all, because these are now, they're not required. These are not required because there are much simpler options which are available. Oh yeah, definitely. You see, in my setup in peripheral vascular disease, like 11 years, I have not done a sympathectomy. And another comment to you, for Raynaud's phenomena, we don't do sympathectomy at all now because such a potent prostaglandin infusion drugs are available. So you give an iloprost infusion for 4 days, 100% patients with Raynaud's have healed up, not even 99%. So you see, for for sympathy, we haven't in our setup, we have not done a sympathectomy now 10, 11 years now. So.
Sir, I agree to you, but the point is you are risking giving contrast to the patient, and we are risking giving GA to the patient. I don't see any risk with
5 ml contrast is not a risk.
Yes, neither is GA. Neither is GA anymore. Thank you.
Yeah. You see, if people don't move. Yeah. You see, I'm actually a trained GI surgeon. Then I converted into a vascular surgeon. So I know all the risks and also all the procedures, what all the things are there. And you see, when I got converted totally into an intervention, then I realized what a shit things we were doing as a surgeons. Because, as an interventionalist, you can do much, much better. And if you have the facilities, not every patient can be subjected to a minimal invasive, but there should be an options available for both, wherever are there.
I think I would make a comment on it, which is very general. As such, the surgeons should not feel offended what the statement given, because I feel most of the procedures, surgeons have been gurus, they have been teachers. They have shown the way, then the interventionalists just came in and tried to do it less surgically, less invasively, that's all. Because it has happened in all the field. EP and arrhythmias, it was done by surgeons. If you think of renal artery surgery, it was done by surgeons. Later on, a stent came in. So everywhere, it is like this. So surgeons have been pioneers. Intervention has been their followers. So don't feel offended if the interventions is going ahead of this simpler procedures.
No, sir, I totally agree with you. But point in the case, we had to always select the patient which is better the patient.
Absolutely.
Whichever gives more benefit, I think that's a better way rather than telling surgeon to do it
Sir, I am a surgeon and interventionist, both. So you see, sir, surgeons will never go out of the job. Never. And you see, this type of hybrid procedure, what we do in our setups, I feel that if I would just have been an interventionalist, I would not never be able to do that. If I would have been just a plain surgeon, I would never have been able to do that. So wherever the setups, you know, if you involve the surgeons and the interventionalists together, you will be able to get through huge amount of patients, what you would not be able to get through as an individual.
Anybody in the audience that are doing the similar procedure which we left live transmission halfway for membrane, IVC membrane treatment, are we doing? Anyone of the panel? Do you have any experience?
Sir, I just wanted to ask you what went wrong in that? I mean,
That's, I think
was it the length of the balloon in which the stent was mounted, or whether while taking it the stent slipped?
Yeah, absolutely. What you're saying is correct. We actually noticed by the time we could point out the operators, myself and Dr. Jindal and Ganna, we noticed that the balloon has slightly slipped into the stent. And I think at that time they should have stopped and tried to either took it back into the sheath. Dr. Khanna gave a very good suggestion that the sheath could have been advanced beyond that membrane and then start deploying it, and so that you can push this catheter beyond that. So that would have been simpler option to avoid this complication, but unless you have complication, you don't know what will happen. Each case we learn something, and always in a live case there is a pressure of time. So Dr. Yadav, yes. Say again. We haven't got any information, but we will try to get what's happening, and we will definitely, because we will not getting a link online, but at least we can get the follow-up what has happened. Yeah, doctor.
Which is not related to the peripheral vascular disease.
Sorry, say again, Dr. Yadav.
Yeah, I have a question. Not related with the
Keep your mic close to you. We can't hear you what you're saying.
not related with the peripheral vascular disease, but with those who are doing sympathetic ablation or surgically. I have just like long QT syndrome is very effective, or CPVT where we ask the surgeon to do the cervical sympathetic gangliectomy, that is left stellate ganglionectomy. So whether they have any experience, those who are doing, because I have not experienced here, I have not sent any patient for that, but had patient, how to, any suggestion, because this is out of peripheral vascular.
Dr. Shastri, any suggestions on what Dr. Yadav is saying on sympathectomy?
Now it's a modality, if you have nothing to do, you do it, except that it's not going to give any much benefit of it, and the long run also use of not much use. I think it is better to be a minimally procedure in those cases, just as Srinivas said that. Well, otherwise, putting the patient to such a surgical risk.
Angioceal and all. But one patient we got who came to us after another 1 or 2 months with a claudication and with a lower ankle brachial index. So is there any, I mean, at the time of putting a closer angioceal, everything was fine. Things were smooth. And then he came to us after 3 months with a claudication with a lower ankle brachial. Is there any experience regarding this?
Yeah. You see, angioceal is always known to have some complications. That's why, you know, the first complication we noticed was in 2002. So, you know, when an angioceal was there, that shaft which is there inside, it has caused thrombosis in the common femoral artery. So you see, most probably your patient may have a localized narrowing in the common femoral artery, which could have caused. So get a duplex scan arterial, there should be a narrowing in the common femoral, which should be able to either balloon it, you know.
I mean, is this improves or, I mean, we need to do something? I mean, does we leave it for some time and see once again, or try to, I mean, the Doppler definitely showed there was a narrowing at the site.
Yeah.
So we got I mean, we went into literature, and what we read was we can leave it for some time and see after another 6 months.
Yeah, you just need to treat it like any other narrowing, you know, if it's a very, depending on the age of the patient, limiting claudication, you know, limb ischemia is there or not, at what site the narrowing is there, because if it is just before the bifurcation, then you have to be a bit careful, because suddenly he can land up with a critical limb ischemia if both the profunda and the SFA gets occluded. So